Have you ever felt like numbers just, well, evaporate from your brain the moment you try to remember them? Dates, figures, long lists. It's almost like trying to catch smoke. And for many people, myself included, trying to recall specific Bible chapters and verses feels like that ultimate memory challenge. It's abstract, it's dense, and honestly, it can feel a little overwhelming.
Oh, absolutely. It's a really common frustration. Our brains are incredible at recognizing patterns, and telling stories, but they're not naturally wired for just memorizing abstract numbers by rote.
Exactly.
So what if you could actually transform those tricky digits into vivid, unforgettable images and stories?
That sounds much better.
Well, that's precisely what we're diving into today. Our mission really is to unpack this ingenious approach called the Joy Bible Number System. Think of it as a remarkable shortcut, a way to turn dense information, like literally hundreds of Bible chapters and thousands of verses, into something that's not just memorable, but genuinely joyful to recall.
Joyful, I like that. And the scope you mentioned, it sounds pretty ambitious, building this whole mental structure with 100 objects in 100 places.
It is ambitious, but it works because it tackles that information overload head on. It leverages our natural human knack for visual and spatial memory.
Okay.
And while the whole system is quite broad, today we're going to zoom in, take a really close look at a fascinating part, how it helps us remember the numbers 10 through 19.
10 through 19. Why that specific range?
Because that's where the system really starts to show its underlying brilliance, its core principles, and how it scales up from the basics.
Gotcha. So to really get the 10-19 part, we probably need a little context on the basics first, right? The single digits.
Exactly. We need to briefly touch on the system's initial building blocks, numbers 1 through 9, to see how 10 through 19 build on them.
Okay. So the system starts with what it calls basic numbers 1 through 9. And these are objects, right? Objects whose shapes kind of look like the number.
Precisely. So think of one eye pick, it looks like a straight piece of chalk. Or two, maybe the curve of a duck's neck.
Ah, okay. I see that.
These aren't just random images. They give that abstract number an immediate, tangible form.
Right. And then there's another set for 1 to 9, the alternate numbers.
Yes, the alternate numbers also 1 through 9. While the basic numbers give you the object, the alternates give you the where, a context, a familiar place.
Like a setting for the object.
Kind of. So alt 1 is an oak tree, alt 2 is a pond. These initial objects and places are the foundation. And what's really neat is how these two sets, the objects and the places, they don't just sit side by side. They work together. They create this powerful memory duo that scales up beautifully for the bigger numbers.
Okay, so it's not just memorizing two separate lists. It's about how they interlock. That makes sense. So if that's the foundation, where do we go for the double digits, specifically 10 through 19? How does that what and where connection continue?
This is where it gets really clever. For the alternate numbers 10 through 19, the system introduces a central unifying theme for the where. The house.
The house, okay.
It's actually a brilliant conceptual leap. Remember alt 1, the oak tree?
Yeah, the oak tree.
Well, the system basically imagines that original oak tree is being located in the house. Or maybe, better put, the house contains the tree. Or rather, the journey starts near it. So you have this immediate link back to an earlier image, but now it's part of a bigger, more immersive setting.
I like that. It creates a mental landscape right away. So this house theme, how does it map onto the actual alternate numbers, 10 to 19? Are we literally taking a tour?
Exactly. The mnemonic technique here is to imagine you're visiting a friend's house. You walk through it, location by location, and each distinct spot represents a number. It turns that abstract list into a memorable journey. It uses our brain's fantastic spatial memory. So maybe let's walk through it together, using your mind's eye.
Okay, I'm ready. Visiting a friend's house.
All right. So as you arrive, the first place you might encounter is the garage. That's alt 10.
Alt 10 garage, got it.
Then, maybe walking towards the entrance, you see a distinctive palm tree in the yard. That makes it alt 11.
Palm tree 11.
Okay. Now you step inside, maybe into the living room, and there's a comfy easy chair. That's alt 12.
Easy chair 12. Makes sense.
And of course, to get further into the house, you typically go through a door, right? So door is alt 13.
Alt 13 door. Following you.
Okay, continuing our tour, maybe we find a study or an office space. You see a desk. That's alt 14.
Desk 14. Check.
Moving on, perhaps towards the kitchen area, you'd likely pass a dining table. That serves as alt 15.
Dining table 15.
All right, and once you're actually in the kitchen, the main feature is often the kitchen stove. That represents alt 16.
Stove 16, right there in the kitchen.
Then maybe you head towards the more private areas. You enter a bedroom, and your eyes land on the bed. That's Alt 17.
Bed 17. Logical.
Looking out the window from the bedroom or maybe stepping into the backyard, you see the garden. That's Alt 18.
Garden 18. Nice ding.
And finally, tucked away in the garden, or perhaps hanging near the porch, maybe there's a cute little bird's house. That marks Alt 19.
Bird's house, 19. Wow, okay. That's actually incredibly effective. You're not just trying to remember a number. You're using your spatial memory, creating this really vivid personal journey. It's like building a mental map, that shift from abstract number to a tangible journey. Yeah, that's really clever.
That's the core of making it joyful to recall. Just like the system promises, it taps into our innate ability to remember images, stories, and places much better than just sequences of digits. So now that we've established these memorable locations, the alternates 10 through 19, the next step is to populate them with the basic numbers, the objects themselves.
Right, the what, that goes in the where.
Exactly. And this is where we uncover the deeper logic.
Okay, so if the alternates are the places in our mental house, how do the basic numbers, the objects, fit in? Are they just another random list, or is there a connection there too? Maybe to the locations or the numbers themselves?
Excellent question, because this is where the system reveals its really impressive secret, the simple principle of basic numbers. This principle is the logic behind choosing all the basic numbers up to 99, but it's super clear and effective in this 10-19 range we're looking at. Each object isn't just picked out of thin air. It's selected based on a specific consistent rule related to its last digit.
The last digit. Okay, interesting.
Yes, and often it also connects thematically to its alternate number location in the house. This logic makes it incredibly sticky in your memory.
All right, I'm intrigued. Let's hear these principles for 10 to 19.
Okay, let's start with numbers ending in zeros, like basic 10. The rule here is that the object represents the overall theme of that block of numbers. So basic 10 is a dog.
A dog? Why a dog?
Well, think about it. A dog is a classic part of a household, right? Often found near the front, maybe in front of the garage. Alt 10. It acts as this perfect anchor for the whole house theme for this section.
Ah, okay. It sets the scene. I get it.
Exactly. Now, for numbers ending in ones, like basic 11, the principle is one shape. Remember, basic 1 was chalk, straight line.
Yeah.
So following that, basic 11 is a broom. The handle of a broom clearly forms a one shape.
True.
And where might you keep a broom? Maybe near the entrance, by the palm tree, Alt 11. It connects visually and spatially.
Okay, that makes sense. What about twos?
For numbers ending in twos, like basic 12, the principle is animal. Basic 2 is a duck, an animal. So for 12, it's a cat.
Cat, an animal, okay.
Yep, another animal. And our brains are good at remembering animals. Where might you find a cat in this house? Perhaps curled up on the easy chair, Alt 12.
Definitely possible. See how those layers build up the image?
Precisely. Now, for numbers ending in threes, like basic 13, the principle relates to three shape. This one might take a little mental flexibility. Basic 13 is a key.
A key for three shape? How does that work?
Well, you could visualize the three parts of a typical key, the bow, the shank, the bitting, or maybe the 3 points of the key going into the lock. And of course, a key naturally goes with the door, Alt 13.
Okay, I can see that connection with the door. The shape is a bit abstract, but the location helps.
It does. Sometimes it's a combination. Moving on to fours, like basic 14. The principle is square. Basic 4 was a notebook, usually rectangular or square. So for 14, we have a briefcase.
Briefcase, definitely square or rectangular.
Right. And you might find a briefcase on a desk, Alt 14, simple geometry.
Makes sense. And fives.
Numbers ending in fives, like basic 15, follow the sharp principle. Basic 5 was often taught as a crocodile or maybe a fishing hook, both suggesting sharpness. For basic 15, the object is a porcupine.
Whoa, porcupine. Definitely sharp.
Exactly. What's much sharper or more memorable than that? It's a really vivid image, maybe surprisingly seen near the dining table, Alt 15, in your mental picture, which helps it stick.
Yeah, I won't forget a porcupine at the dining table. Okay, sixes.
For numbers ending in sixes, like basic 16, the principle is round. Basic 6 was a cherry, perfectly round. So basic 16 is a pan.
Pan, usually round. Makes sense.
And it fits perfectly on the kitchen stove, Alt 16. The association is immediate, logical, uses common household stuff.
Right. How about sevens?
Moving to numbers ending in sevens, like basic 17, the principle is shine. Basic 7 was a candle, which shines. So for basic 17, it's a lamp.
Lamp shines. Okay.
Of course, a lamp gives light, it shines, and it's very often found by a bed, Alt 17. It uses that functional property shining to reinforce the number.
Clever. Nearly there. Eights.
For numbers ending in eights, like basic 18, the principle is 8 shape. Basic 8 was a snowman, 2 stacked circles like an 8. Basic 18 is a butterfly,
Butterfly. How is that an 8 shape?
If you look at a butterfly's wings, especially in motion or how they're often drawn, the two main wings can strongly suggest the loops of an 8.
Okay, I can sort of see that.
And a butterfly fits perfectly in a garden. Alt 18. It creates a really nice, harmonious image.
It does. All right, last one, 9s.
And finally, for numbers ending in 9s, like basic 19, the principle is 9 shape or fly. Basic 9 was a balloon. It has that round shape with a string, kind of like a 9, but importantly, it flies. So for basic 19, it's a parrot.
A parrot.
A parrot's hooked beak can maybe suggest a 9 shape, but more importantly, parrot flies. And you might see one in or near a bird's house, Alt 19. That dual association shape in action makes it really versatile.
Wow. That's genuinely ingenious. But what really strikes me is how it's not just random pairings you have to brute force memorize. It's this whole interconnected web. You've got the object's shape or its nature tied to the number's last digit, and it's linked to a specific place in that memorable house journey. It turns abstract numbers into something you experience mentally, almost like a story.
That's exactly it. It's about working with your brain's natural tendencies for association, for narrative, for spatial memory, not fighting against them. By creating these vivid mental links, even seemingly arbitrary bits of data become sticky, easy to pull back out.
So to wrap up our deep dive today, we've looked closely at the Joy Bible number system, zeroing in on numbers 10 through 19. We saw how it builds on those basic single-digit images, expands them into that memorable house journey for the alternate numbers, the places, and then assigns the basic numbers, the objects, using these really clever, consistent principles tied to the last digit-like shape, or being an animal, or shining, or flying. It's honestly a fantastic example of how creative thinking can tackle what feels like an overwhelming memory task.
It really demonstrates that with the right framework, even abstract data can become concrete, vivid, and much easier to retrieve from memory. It's a powerful reminder that memory isn't just about endless repetition. It's fundamentally about connection and meaning.
Absolutely. So thinking about this, what does it all mean for you listening right now? While this specific system is designed for remembering Bible verses, the core ideas it uses, imagery, themes, spatial memory, finding logical connections to transform abstract stuff, those are universal principles. Think about it. What other abstract information in your life, dates for history, maybe formulas for work, facts for something new you're learning, could you turn into a memorable story or a vivid mental image, like walking through that house? How could you bring a little more, joy to your own learning and make those challenging numbers or facts finally stick? Something to think about. We hope this deep dive sparks some ideas for you.